The mother showed to their children, "That is the plane your uncle is on. Let us all wait. Maybe he will see us." So the children jumped up and down and waved frantically and shouted at the top of their voices. Seconds later, after the plane had passed, the tiniest child turned to her daddy and asked, "Daddy, how do people climb up to the sky to get into the planes?" Her daddy explained that passengers did not have to climb to the sky to get into the planes. The planes came down from the sky to the passengers. Dear brothers and sisters, that story is a beautiful illustration of what Christmas is all about. Christmas celebrates the fact that we don't have to climb up to the sky to get to God, to reach God. God has come down to earth to us. Christmas celebrates the fact that the infinite God, at a point in time, crossed an unimaginable border and personally entered our world. And he has dwelt among us, and he is with us. That God is with us, Emmanuel. That is what we are celebrating. So before such an unremarkable dream, the intellect reels. So God is with us. Fortunately, a Christian writer has helped our understanding of this mystery. He simply said, "Well, love does such things." And so 2000 years ago, like a great star, Jesus came down from heaven and lit up the darkness of the world. The Christmas image of Jesus is that of a light shining in the darkness. This image took on a remarkable meaning for Viktor Frankl, a Nazi prisoner of war in the Second World War. One morning, very early, he and some other prisoners were digging in the cold, hard ground. Frankl writes in Man's Search for Meaning, "The dawn was grey around us. Grey was the sky above. Grey the snow in the pale light of dawn. Grey the rags in which my fellow prisoners were clad, and grey their faces. I was struggling to find a reason for my sufferings, my slow dying." As Frank struggled in the miserable cold to make sense of his suffering, suddenly he became totally convinced that there was a reason, even though he did not fully comprehend. Frankl describes what happened then. At that moment, a light was lit in a distant farmhouse, which stood on the horizon as if it were painted there, in the midst of the miserable grey. At the moment, there flashed into Frankl's mind the words of the Gospel from John, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has never put it out." So Frankl says that experience radically changed his entire prison life. It gave him hope, where before he had only despair. Viktor Frankl's experience illustrates a second point about Christmas. Christmas celebrates the fact that when Jesus entered our darkened world, so did hope. Before Jesus entered our world, people were in a situation much like Frankel. They were struggling to find a reason for their suffering, for their slow death. After Jesus entered our world, people suddenly saw there was a reason for their suffering, even though they could not comprehend it fully. And this brings us to the third point about Christmas. What Jesus was to the world of his time, he wants to be to the world of our time. We too must be a beam of light in the midst of darkness. We too must be a ray of hope in the midst of despair. The English writer John Ruskin left us with a splendid image of what Jesus wants us to be in our world. In Ruskin's time, electricity had not been discovered yet. City streets were lit at night by gas lamps. City lamplighters had to go from lamp to lamp, lighting them with a flaming torch. One night, when Ruskin was a very old man, he was sitting in front of a window in his house. Across the valley was a street on a hillside. There, Ruskin could see the torch of a lamplighter lighting lamps as he went. Because of the darkness, Ruskin could not see the lamplighter. He could see only his torch and the trail of lights it left behind him. After a few minutes, Ruskin turned to the person next to him and said, "That is a good illustration of a Christian. People may never have known Jesus. They may never have met him. They may never even have seen him, but they know he passed through their world by the trail of lights he left lit behind him." Dear brothers and sisters, Christmas is an invitation for each one of us to be for our world what Jesus was for his world. A beam of light in the midst of darkness, a ray of hope in the midst of despair. If Jesus is to be born in today's world, it must be through each one of us. We must be the beam of light in the midst of darkness. We must be the ray of hope in the midst of despair. So to the extent that we heed the invitation of Christmas, to the extent will the world receive the gift of Christmas, peace on earth and goodwill toward all. In brief, the message of Christmas is giving hope, peace, joy, and what is the next one? Basically, all our Christmas message is built on love. It radiates everything. So, Jesus is the reason for the season. So, we have to keep him in the center. Most of us now we wish people happy holidays. It is not holidays, it is holy day, because Jesus is the reason for the season. He is made holy. So please, when you wish people, make it a point to wish Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas, and also keep Christ, keep Jesus as the center of the season. So once again, I wish you all Merry Christmas and Blessed New Year. God bless you.